All right, this is a recording of a translation and discussion of the Ecce Romani, chapter 20, Chance Encounter. Ubi Cornelia et mater cubitum ierunt. So when Cornelia and her mother went. Ierunt is the perfect tense of eo ire in irregular verb, and you can see that the third principal part, eo ire ii, is just simply a short I and a long I. The first short I is your perfect stem. And it is onto that perfect stem that you could then put your perfect endings e, isti, it, imis, istis, erunt. So went, did go, have gone, and then cubitum here, to bed. The reason why you're translating cubitum to bed is that it is what's called a supine. A supine that ends in the letters um, and thus it shows purpose. We in English use the infinitive to express purpose, to bed down, but in Latin they use several things, including the supine here, which this is a supine meaning for the purpose of bedding down. But we can simply say went to bed, as in to bed down, comma, Marcus et Sextus, Marcus and Sextus, manserunt, from maneo, manere, mansi, mansus. Knowing your principal parts is incredibly important, and here manserunt uses the third principal part, giving the perfect stem, mans, and then again the perfect ending, erunt. Stayed, did stay, have stayed, cum Cornelio, with Cornelius. Cornelio, obviously, with a long O, could be dative or ablative, but here it is the object of the preposition cum, showing the accompaniment. Cum Cornelio cenare, et post cenam ad medium noctem vigilare in animo habuerunt. You go and find the subject, they, it's in the verb erunt, again a perfect ending, so they had, they did have, they have had, any of those be a perfect translation, habeo, habere, habui, meaning to have or to hold. They did have, in animo, in mind, cenare at the front of the sentence, to eat dinner, cum Cornelio with Cornelius, et post cenam, and after dinner, vigilare, to stay up, ad medium noctem, to middle night or midnight. Nam, for, voluerunt, again from a irregular verb, volo, vele, volui, voluerunt, is here the, again, perfect with the erunt ending. They did want, they wanted, they have wanted, omnia videre, to see all and to hear all. Omnia is, of course, from the third declension adjective of double termination, omnis, omnis, omne, and as an I stem, that's why it's ia, and it's a either nominative or accusative plural, and in this instance, accusative plural, and implies things, making it obviously an adjective that implies a noun and thus becomes a noun. We call those substantives. Marcus Inquit says, Esurio pater, Esurio, I am hungry, or I hunger, father. And of course, esorisne, asking a question. The ne is then going to be the part on the sentence that lets us know, are you also hungry, Sextus? The two here, of course, being unnecessary, but there for emphasis, and that he is probably, nudging Sextus to say he's hungry too, so they can have an opportunity maybe to eat dinner and stay up a little later. Ito vero respondit Sextus. Thus truly, Sextus responded. I know that it's responded because this verb respondit is from the principal parts respondeo, respondere, respondi. Now the perfect and the present stem would be identical, R-E-S-P-O-N-D. But if it were the present stem, it would have the present vowel E because it's a second conjugation verb, and then it would have the ending T, whereas here it is the perfect stem respond with the perfect ending it, as in E is the it. Semper esoritis, y'all always are hungry, tu et Marcus, you and Marcus, exclaimed, did exclaim, has exclaimed, Cornelius exclamavit has the V of the perfect stem, V sucks, so I know it's perfect. Licetne nobis, inquit Marcus, hic canare, is it allowed for us? Nobis here is our dative, showing a reference. It is allowed is an impersonal verb, licet, and the ne on it, of course, makes it a question. And as an impersonal verb, when you say, is it allowed, the it really isn't your subject. The subject is really going to be an action, and that action is going to be expressed by an infinitive, which you have with canare. The act of eating dinner is allowed for us, and then, of course, hic with a long I here. So, is it allowed for us to eat dinner here? Paulisper, an adverb for a short time. Takebat pater, the father was silent, was being silent, the ba of Takebat, but at last said tandem, esto inquit, let it be. Esto here in the book is translated as all right, but instead we need to understand it as a singular future imperative. We've learned that imperatives, commands, are usually present, in which you tell somebody do something, or lots of people do something, and we know the ways to form those present imperatives. But here the future imperative, which is very often used with the verb to be. Remember, the present imperative singular for this verb, assume esse, would be s, identical to the second person singular indicative, and the plural, talking more than one person, saying be, would of course be este. But here esto then makes it future, and you translate it as may you be, or if it's plural, may y'all be. But the future imperative is unique in that it can also be third person, in which it would say let it be, singular, and let them be. And so he says, let it be. Tibi et sexto licet hicanare. It is allowed for you, dative of reference, tibi, and for sextus, dative of reference, to eat dinner here. And again, the thing that is being allowed is the act of eating dinner, the true subject, not it. Post canam tamen, after dinner, however, it is necessary, statum cubitumere, to go for the purpose of bedding down. Cubitum again is that supine, but here we can always translate it idiomatically in English as to bed. So it is necessary to go to bed. The act of going is the necessary thing. Ire, your subject, est, your linking verb, and nekese, from the third declension adjective, nekesis, nekesis, nekese, then is going to tell us that infinitives, when they are nouns and subjects particularly, are going to be neuter. That's why they use nekese instead of nekesis. If it were something along the lines of saying food is necessary, it'd be kibus, with a us ending main masculine. Nekesis est, and thus you would use the masculine nekesis instead of the neuter nekese. Riserunt pueri, the boys laughed, did laugh, have laughed, quod laeti errant, because they were, errant, imperfect, happy. Gaudemus pater, we are happy, father, Marcus says, inquid Marcus, quod, because, and then you go and see that your verb is misisti, from medo, midere, misi, misus, the verb to send, and it has on the ending isti, from e isti it, I, you. So because you have not, you did not, you sent not, if you would like, immediately nos, us, into the bedroom. Nos here is, again, the form either we or us, but I know that it is obviously the object us and not the subject we, because if it were functioning as the subject we, then your ending on the verb would have been mus or imus for a perfect ending. Voluimus, here we can tell that voluimus is perfect because we see the u of the v6 perfect stem. We wanted, we did want, we have wanted, hic manere, to remain here, et alios viatores spectare, and to watch the other travelers. Viatores literally means road people, roadies if you'd like to call them that. Tum Cornelius calponem usit. Then Cornelius usit, from the verb eubeo, eubere, usi, usus. Again, we have a perfect stem and a perfect ending. Ordered, did order, has ordered. Calponem, the third declension, meaning innkeeper, instead of calponam, first declension would be the inn itself, but he ordered the innkeeper, quibum parare, to prepare food. Brevi tempore, in a short time ablative. The slave, a slave, portavit, again, the V of perfect stem, carried, did carry, has carried, quibum, food, towards them. Dum pueri quibum devorant, so while the boys devour the food. Subito intravit miles quidam, suddenly a quidam miles. Whenever you have dam on a qui quod word, it's going to mean a certain. We've seen this before, and it's modifying miles, which is the third declension. A noun, and it is the variant form. If all of its other forms would have the stem milit, so plural soldiers would be milites. Please do not translate that as military. Instead it is soldier. A certain soldier, intrawit, entered, did enter, has entered, perfect tense. Cornelium, first word, even though it is the direct object. Attente spectavit, he watched, he did watch, he has watched, perfect tense. Cornelius, attentively. The long E tells us that this is an adjective turned into an adverb. Salve vir optime, in the, of course, vocative case, talking to him directly. We're is not going to end with US, and so its nominative and its vocative look identical. Greetings, or be healthy, best man, very good man. He says, inquit salvete pueri, changing now to the plural imperative because he's talking to the boys. Hello, boys. Curvos in hanc calponem intravistis. Again, a perfect verb. Why have y'all entered into this in hanc calponam, hanc meaning this. Cur non ad vilam hospitis istis. Why, and istis, of course, is from eo ire ii. Again, it's perfect tense. Why have y'all not gone to the country house hospitis of a friend with obligations? That's where a senator would usually stay. So immediately when they come in, the soldier recognizes them for what they are, not because of the toga that Cornelius is wearing, but rather because of the tunica laticlavia. And here we also see the repetition of cur at the front of the sentence, making an anaphora, which is a literary device. None tu es senator Romanus. Surely you are a Roman senator. None, indicating a question that expects a yes answer. And so we translate it as surely, but you could also just translate it, you are a Roman senator, right? Or something of that nature. Or you could even say, aren't you? The opposite of none would, of course, be the word num, which would be surely not, expecting a no answer. You continue on the next page, 160. Senator Romanus sum, I am a Roman senator. Cornelius responded, did respond. Again, it's perfect tense because of the perfect ending it. Nos in hanc calponum intravimus, another perfect with a V. We, and here you can see the nos is we and not us, because it is the ending imus on your perfect verb. We have entered into this in plus accusative, into, quod, because Rita Nostra, our carriage, sticks, is sticking, does stick, hiret, in the ditch, immobilis, motionless. Immobilis here could be nominative, masculine, or feminine, or it could be genitive of all three genders. Here, however, we know that it's modifying the Rita, so it tells us that it is nominative, singular, and feminine. In agris nocte manere nolebamus, we were not wanting with the BA, thus you say we wanted not, or were not wanting, to remain manere in the fields nocte, ablative, at night, said, but numquam antia, never before, per noctavimus, have we spent the night, did we spend the night in an inn. Again, people of the senatorial status, like the Cornelians, would never stay at a sketchy place like inns. Certe, certainly, long E tells me the adverb. It is dangerous to spend the night in the fields. Here what you have is pernoctare is actually the subject, the act of spending night. Est, equal sign, and then a complement predicate adjective, periculosum. Again, you see with the periculosum, the neuter form tells us, since all linking verbs are equal signs, that the infinitive itself is indeed a neuter noun. Tum miles, then the soldier says. Also in an inn, often saepe est periculosum, it is dangerous to spend the night. Cur hoc nobis dicus. Dicus from dico dicere dixi dictus, similar to the verb to lead, duco ducere, but dico dicere means, of course, to speak or to say. So he asks, why do you say hoc, this thing, this singular, accusative, neuter thing, implying thing, nobis, to us? Since the nobis is in the dative and it is receiving the hoc, which is the direct object, it makes it the indirect object. And we do have a ditransitive verb, give, show, speak, or tell in the form of dicus. Cornelius asked, did ask, has asked, perfect tense rogavit. Esne hic calpo homoscelestis, is asking a question, ne on the end of est. Hic calpo, hic without the long I, is going to simply be this and not here. Is this innkeeper homoscelestus, a wicked man? Homo being, of course, the nominative variant form of third declension. De Apollodoro quid aduisti? What have you heard? What did you hear about Apollodorus? De meaning about. De Apollodoro nihil audivi. About Apollodorus, I have heard nothing, sed semper est periculosum in Capona Pernactare, but it is always dangerous to spend the night in an inn. Inns really did have a bad reputation for good reason in the ancient world. Osne adivistis illam fabulam. Have y'all heard? Did y'all hear? It's perfect tense. Adivistis illam fabulam. That story. On your definitions at the bottom, it says illam is that famous, but not famous. It's just that story, naratam. Now, the fourth principal part of a verb is a participle. We've seen participles going all the way back to chapter 7 with laborantes. And that is what we call a present active participle. And it translates as verbing, and that was telling us what kind of slaves they saw in the field in chapter 7, working slaves. We've also seen barking dogs, latrantes, as well as all sorts of other uses of that particular participle. Here, however, the fourth principal part, naratus, narata, naratum, from the verb naro, narare, narawi, naratus, is what we call the perfect passive participle, and it translates having been verbed. And so we know what kind of fabulam, if it's a naratam fabulam, a story having been told, or simply told, de capone, about the innkeeper. Ille calpo, that innkeeper, calpo here, just like homo, a couple of lines above it, is the variant nominative form. That long O is not an ending. It's the, of course, subject. That innkeeper killed, did kill, neko, nekare, nekawi, nekatus. Perfect stem, perfect ending, the V of nekawit telling me it's a perfect stem. Killed the hospitem, the guest. Minime, leastly, Cornelius says. Illam fabulum, no, now diwi. I have not heard that story being first in the sentence because that's what's emphasized. Corrigitur nobis illam non naras. Why, therefore, do you not tell, naras being a present verb, illam, that one, referring to the story, nobis, another dative indirect object because they will be receiving that one, and your ditransitive verb, naras, give, show, speak, or tell, as in tell a story. Why do you therefore not tell that one to us, nobis, dum canamus, while we dinner, while we dine? Nevertheless, so I hope you use this. It's only 17 and a half minutes long so that you can study the chapter several times and be successful even though we are not together in school. Good luck, and hopefully everything is going well for you.